All right, sweet. We're going to do some quadratic word problems. Now, a lot of these are going to have a little bit to do with graphing and understanding what the graph of a quadratic looks like. Okay, so I'm going to have here on the side my handy dandy virtual TI-89. And so we'll be looking at this as we go. Now, in some situations, we'll work something out by hand, and then I'll still show you how to do it on the calculator just so that we have it. All right? So let's go ahead and we will start with the problem at hand. We've got a geometry problem. Teddy is building the rectangular deck shown below. Write the equation representing the area of the deck. Well, we know that area is equal to length times width. And so if we take the length of this, which is, I think that's supposed to be an x plus 6, and we multiply it by the height or the width, which is x minus 2, that should give us the area. So now the second question asks, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? Now, in order to get the equation of the axis of symmetry, we need to be in standard form. So we're going to go ahead and take this and we're going to FOIL it out, which gives us x squared, and then plus 6x minus 2x will be plus 4x, and then 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And of course, that's still equal to the area. But to get the equation for the axis of symmetry, we're going to use x equals negative b over 2a. Now, negative b over 2a, we'll get that straight from here. Remember, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is 1, b is 4, and c is negative 12. So we're going to go negative 4 over 2 times a, which is 1, because the number in front of the x squared there is 1. And so there we have negative 4 divided by 2, which is negative 2. So the equation for the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. Now we also know that that is the x value of the vertex. So now it asks us to graph the equation and label its vertex. And so let's see what we can do about that. So we already have the x value of the vertex, so to get the y value, we're just going to plug it in. You can plug it into either this equation right here or the one that we FOILed out. Either one should be fine. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to plug it into this first one. So a equals negative 2 plus 6, and then negative 2 minus 2, which is going to give me 4 times negative 4, which is negative 16. So my vertex is at negative 2, comma negative 16. So we'll go negative 2, negative 16, and we'll put down the vertex. So that's the vertex right there. It's now labeled. Okay, now we'll look for a couple other points. We can get the y-intercept. We know the y-intercept is c, because if we make x 0, then that makes the a equal to negative 12. So that's going to be this one. We already talked about the axis of symmetry in part B. So the axis of symmetry is at x equals negative 2, which goes straight through the vertex, which means that we can take our y-intercept, which is 2 spaces to the right of the axis of symmetry, and reflect a point 2 spaces to the left. Now, last of all, let's see if we can get the x-intercepts. So if I'm looking for the x-intercepts, we're going to set y, or the area here, because area is the y-axis. We're going to set that equal to 0. Now, you could do it in either of these equations. Please note that if I did make it equal to 0 here, I would have to factor this. It's already factored for us. So let's go ahead and use this. We're going to go 0 equals x plus 6, x minus 2. So that means 0 equals x plus 6, or 0 equals x minus 2. That means x equals a positive 2 or a negative 6. So if we put both of those down, we got the positive 2 right there and the negative 6 right there, which then allows us to finish up by drawing my line, which should look something like this. And there you go. There's your quadratic graph. Now, just to show, I'm going to go ahead and do this on my calculator. So let's turn it on. We're going to go to the y equals screen. So that's in green. So we're going to have to go green y equals. We're going to go ahead, clear whatever's there by pushing the clear button. And then we're going to type in for y1. You can type in either of these. If you want to type it in standard form, great. If you want to type it in the original function and make sure that you didn't make any mistakes, that's probably what I would do. So I'm going to go x plus 6, and then I'm going to go x minus 2. Please take note, if you have any other letters here, if you're using other letters for the variables, you still need to type in x. So then we'll go enter. And so once you enter, you'll notice it puts it in for you. So now we can graph it. So graph is in green. So there you go. Now it doesn't look exactly like my picture here. That's because the window isn't the same. So we need to go into the window. And if I look at my graph over here, it's asking for the x minimum. So the minimum x value here, -5, -6, goes to -7. So I'm going to type in -7. And the maximum x value, it goes from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 over here. So 3. So we'll put 3 for that. Don't worry about the scale. The y minimum looks like it goes down to 16, -18. And then the y maximum looks like it goes up to, remember, we're going by 2's here, so that's got to be a y maximum of 2. And so now if I graph it by going green F3, then it should look very similar to what I have there. And you can see that it is. Ta-da!